This is a scary but very sad story that I experienced. My hobby is mountaineering, and I enjoy climbing various mountains throughout the year. On that day, I went out with my climbing friends to climb Mount S in a certain prefecture. S Mountain is not so high, but it is famous for being relatively steep. Therefore, many of the climbers of Mount S have some experience. Early in the morning we started climbing Mount Well. We have a long climbing history, so it wasn't too difficult to reach the summit. Take a commemorative photo at the top of the mountain, eat a lunch you brought from home, and enjoy the beautiful scenery. Now, when we started talking about whether it was time to go down the mountain, a boy came up to us out of nowhere. It looks like a boy about 7 to 8 years old. Why am I alone with a small child on top of such a steep mountain? I wondered, what's wrong? Father and mother? I heard that the child, mom and dad, they're over there. Saying this, he pointed towards the descent road. Apparently, the father and mother left the child and descended first. To do such a cruel thing to a small child on such a steep mountain. When we say to the child, "Let's go down the mountain together," the child nods. But it's kind of weird, kid. The clothes are too comfortable. Even though it's a steep mountain, I'm wearing shorts. From the point of view of a person who enjoys mountain climbing, it is an insane outfit. As we descended the mountain, we asked him many questions. Did the three of you come today with your father and mother? Did you climb the mountain in that outfit? I asked him questions but he gradually became silent and stopped talking. Well, we regretted that it wasn't very popular to bombard small children with questions. On the way down the mountain, the child started complaining that his leg hurt. You can see that he has injured his knee. We scrambled to stop the bleeding, bandage the wound, and give first aid to the child's injuries. But it's really weird. Until just a little while ago, the child was walking with me. There should have been no foot injuries at that time. However, he suddenly started complaining that his leg hurts, and when he saw it, he was seriously injured. At this point, I felt a little embarrassed. Even though I think so, I'm still a small child. Do not let go. We took turns carrying the kids on our backs and continued down the mountain. But even here there is a sense of incongruity. That child is not warm at all even if he is carrying it on his back. I don't feel human heat on my back. It's like carrying a stone on your back. And even though I should be carrying a child on my back, I can't even hear her breathing. Somehow I was scared and I couldn't help it. While doing so, I arrived at a mountain hut on the way down. We decided to take a break there. I have to take care of my child's injuries. Drop the child off your back at the hut. Then, even though the child should have had a painful leg, he got up and left the mountain hut. We immediately followed him, but for some reason the children were nowhere to be seen around the hut. It seems as if he suddenly disappeared. What happened to the owner of the mountain hut when we were in a hurry to find our child? I have heard that. We told the owner of the mountain hut everything that had happened. After listening to everything, the owner of the hut silently went into the back room and give us one picture. The one in the picture was the child we had descended with. However, the photo seems to be an old one, and it is presumed that a considerable amount of time has passed. This child is a child who was lost in this mountain. He got separated from his father and mother at the top of the mountain, and by the time the search party found him, he was already dead. This photo was used during the search. I also participated in the search. Talk like you guys, it happens a few times a year. I'm sure the spirit of that child is still looking for his parents. I really feel sorry for you. Give me some incense so that I can attain Buddhahood. The owner of the mountain hut told us so. That child is still wandering around this mountain. Had him undergo various tests, but no abnormalities were found. However, it continued to get worse, and finally my grandfather became numb to the fingertips of his right hand and could not move. As expected, there was a clear abnormality, so I had him checked again at the hospital, including the possibility of cerebral infarction, but there was still no abnormality. My grandfather was in such a state, so Jizo was completely forgotten, but after a few days, my grandfather began to say, "It's a pity to leave Jizo alone." There was no other choice, so my father and I repaired Jizo under the guidance of my grandfather. Jizo-san's arms that had been taken off were properly attached and returned to their original shape, so I returned them to your company. Then, that night, my grandfather's right arm healed as if nothing had happened, and he began to move. Our family was surprised, and it became a hot topic that the abnormality in my grandfather's right arm was caused by the curse of Jizo. It is said that Jizo-san misunderstood his grandfather's goodwill and misunderstood that he was hurt. After that, as a result of properly repairing and restoring it, I think that Jizo's anger was resolved. It's just a speculation, but if you don't think so, you can't explain your grandfather's anomaly. Ever since this incident, for some reason I feel scared of Jizo-san.